Hello and welcome back to your mat. Today we're going to be focusing on the immune system in our continuing series of transitioning from the winter to the spring. We're going to help open up the lungs so we can breathe deeper. So we'll get into all that today. For today's class, you may need a strap if you have tight shoulders. This is optional. And you will need 2 blocks, so have those handy or nearby. Set those aside for now. Today's quote is by the Dalai Lama. People take different roads seeking fulfillment and happiness. Just because they're not on your road doesn't mean they've gotten lost. I love that quote by Dalai Lama. All right, so we're going to get started. And we're going to start out in, actually, set the blocks aside for one moment. We're going to do one breathing work, some more breath work, and then we'll get to this first pose. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I'm going to introduce a new breathing technique today, which is called, in the yoga world, it's called Ujjayi breathing. So it's not anything fancy or crazy. It's just the name for it. And it's also sometimes called ocean breath because it can sound like the ocean. So what we're going to do is when you do Ujjayi breathing, you normally will have your mouth will be closed. But to demonstrate this to you initially, I'd like to show it to you with the mouth open, and then I'll walk you through it. So Ujjayi breathing is you're going to take a nice inhale, and then you can hold your hand up as if it was like a mirror, and then you're going to exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. Let's try that together. Inhale. And exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. And you hear that sound. It sounds a little bit like an ocean. It's like what you would do if you're fogging up a mirror. You're actually constricting the back of your throat a bit when you're doing this. So now we're going to try it. Same idea. Like you're fogging up a mirror, but close your mouth. So inhale. And you'll still have that sound, but your mouth will be closed. So now let's try it again. Inhale. You should hear that sound. I don't know if my mic is picking it up. I'll try breathing into the mic and see if you can hear that. So as I go through today's class, just try to remember that and try to go back to that kind of breathing. If you find that it's difficult for you, you just are not feeling it today, then just go to your regular normal breathing. But otherwise, try to do that little constriction at the back of your throat, and it's making that sound of an ocean breath. So we're going to start out with our 2 blocks. So you can pick the height that works best for you. If you don't have blocks, you could use a blanket, you could use some pillows. If you don't have any of those options, you could always roll your mat up, and we can lay over that, and that will give you still that same chest opening. So take the blocks. I'm going to start with the medium height, I do believe, for me is going to work. So one's going to be for your head, and one's going to be for your back. And this bottom block is going to go right here, right at the tips of the bottoms of your shoulder blades. And for all the ladies out there, it's about where your bra line is. So that's where this block is going to go. And this block for your head is going to go right here at the bottom. It's called the occiput, the bottom of your skull. So we're going to lay over these for a moment or two here. So go ahead and get yourself set up. Find the height that works best for you. You may find that you like different heights. Like you might like this one on the lowest level. Lay the tips of your bottom of your shoulder blades on it. And then your head block, you'll have to adjust it. And put that block right about at the bottom of your base of your skull where your neck will hang free. So you kind of play around and see what you like. For me, this works really well. It still gives me the chest opening without really tweaking anything. You can have your legs outstretched on the mat, long on the mat. You could have them bent with soles of the feet on the ground. You could open up into a bound angle with your knees out to the side, whatever feels best for you. And I just want you to get comfortable in this pose for a few moments, using and inhaling and exhaling, using that Ujjayi breath that we just learned. So inhale, breathing out like you're fogging up a mirror with your mouth closed. And if you need to have your mouth open initially to get used to it, go for it. So while we're here, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we're working on today with the immune system. So we're working on boosting our immune system, and again, continue to breathe. You can actually use this class anytime you need an immune booster. It doesn't have to be when you're going into spring. It could be any season. It could be any time. It's not necessarily a best time to boost your immune system. Any time is always a good time, especially in the days of pandemics and such. But it can be especially helpful in the springtime or the coming of springtime when you've got
blooming. Things are blooming. You've got pollen in the air. I know people with seasonal allergies can get congested. This pose alone is wonderful to help. As you can feel, your chest is opening bright. You're not constricted. You're not rounded in. You're open, really nice and open, and allowing that breath to get into your chest and your lungs. So let's take another 3 deep breaths. Ujjayi breathing here. Inhales and exhales. Inhale. And exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. Twice more. Inhale. And once more. Inhale. And from here, you're just going to roll over to to the side, either side, and bring yourself up off your blocks with your hands. And we'll move the blocks out of the way, and we'll come into to seated. Put my hair back into a ponytail. So I'm going to turn this side so you can see this. So you can sit cross-legged. You could sit with your soles of your feet on the floor and your knees bent, whatever feels best for you. I'm going to sit cross-legged. And all we're going to do is continue to open up the chest a bit more to help with the immune system. So bring your arms back behind you, shoulder blades together, drawn on the back. And just really open up that chest. Puff up your chest, really open and breathe here. Continue with that Ujjayi breathing. So inhale. Inhale. Twice more on your own. Trying to exaggerate the breathing so you can hear it. Again, it sounds like an ocean breath, or like you're fogging up a mirror. And release that. And from here, we're going to come into a child's pose. So go ahead and do a wide-kneed child's pose. Sit back on your heels. If you need to prop up your head on a block or a blanket or pillow, do that. And from here, go ahead and just stretch your body out long on the mat. Sinking your hips into your heels. Breathing here, getting comfortable in this pose. Again, continue with that Ujjayi breathing. 2 more inhales. And exhales. Once more. And from here, go ahead and stay your legs in the same position, but take both of your arms out to the left. And stack your right on top of your left hand. And now put your head on your forehead on the ground if it reaches. And just do the nice side stretch here in your side body, keeping this right hip grounded into your heel. Breathing here. 2 deep breaths. Inhale. Inhale, come back to center, and now we'll go over to the right-hand side. So bring both your arms, over your hands to the right. Stack your left on top of your right, and bring your forehead to the ground or to a block, keeping your left hip grounded into your heel, so you don't go with it. You want to stay grounded and really open up that side body. Breathe here, 2 inhales and exhales. Ujjayi breathing. On the inhale, come back to center. All right, and from here, we're going to go ahead and step up to the top of our mat. I'm going to turn facing you initially just to show you, but we will end up at the top of our mat. So from here, just going to inhale and bring the arms up overhead, reaching toward the sky, and exhale, bring your arms back down in front of you. Inhale, arms reach overhead, and exhale. Trying to continue that Ujjayi breathing where you feel like you're fogging up a mirror if possible. On the next inhale, I want you to lift up onto your toes so your heels will come off of the floor as your arms go up. So inhale, balancing on your toes, and exhale, lower everything back down, arms and feet. Twice more. Inhale, coming up on your toes, arms up, reach overhead, and exhale back down.
Once more. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, up on your toes, lift your heels, hold your balance, and exhale, come back down. Great. Let's go ahead and come to the top of our mat. And from here, you may need your blocks if you find that you need those when you do the forward folds. So from here, we're going to inhale, bring the arms up overhead, and exhale, hinge at your hips and fold forward. Inhale and halfway lift, and exhale, fold in. Inhale, come all the way back up, arms reach overhead, and exhale, we're going to refold forward. So hinge at your hips, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hinge forward. You can always have a bend in your knees. Inhale, bring your arms up overhead. Reach for the sky. And exhale and bend forward one more time. Inhale and come up halfway. And on the exhale, this time I'd like you to step back into a downward facing dog. So go ahead and pedal out your legs for this. Take a couple deep breaths in and out through your nose. Using that Ujjayi breath the best that you can. Settle into your down dog. And inhale and rock forward into plank. You can always lower your knees if you'd like. And exhale, lower down to the ground. Tuck your back toes. Inhale, placing your hands next to your chest. And inhale, rise up into a low cobra, medium cobra, or high cobra. And exhale back down. And let's come back to downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. Inhale and exhale through the nose. And now look forward and step forward on your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, look out in front of you. And exhale, fold in. Inhale and come all the way back up, bringing your arms reach overhead. And exhale, back to your mountain pose. So we'll do that same series once more. Inhale, arms up, reach overhead. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. And on the exhale, go ahead and step back into your downward facing dog. Stay for 2 breaths. Inhale, rock forward into plank. Lower your knees if you like. Exhale, lower your whole body down. Untuck your back toes. And now inhale and come up into cobra. Any amount. Leaving the shoulders back on you, not hunching forward, but keeping those back. Exhale back into downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. And inhale, walk forward. Halfway lift, look out in front of you. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reach for the sky. And exhale, bring your hands back down the center to mountain pose. From here, go ahead and step out into a nice wide-legged stance here. So your feet will be parallel on the mat. You may need a strap here if you have tight shoulders. So grab that if you know that you have tight shoulders. I'm going to show it without the strap, but keep that in mind. So from here, you got your feet are parallel, facing the side edge of your mat. Take your hands and interlace them or use the strap. Interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, get tall, open that chest, and exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips, bringing the arms up overhead to open up those shoulders. If the arms bother you in any way, go ahead and just leave your arms down to the ground. Breathing here. You can always have a small, slight bend in your knees. And inhale, let's come all the way back up. And we'll step forward on our mats, back to mountain. Inhale, reach up overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, back to mountain pose. All right, from here, we're going to do a balance pose. We're gonna work into warrior three. So if you find that balancing poses you need either a wall space, you might find blocks are helpful. Go ahead and get those together, whatever you might need. Maybe it's a chair, whatever you need to help with your balance. Don't feel like you have to just do this and just go through it. If you really need something to balance with, please grab that. So we're gonna go into warrior three, and I'm gonna show it without props, but again, grab whatever you need. So we're gonna start out on the right foot. We're gonna balance on the right foot. And I like to have a little bit of a bend in my right knee initially to get started in this pose. So go ahead and bring that left leg back behind you. And from here, I like to have my hands out to the side. It helps me balance better. So you can bring them in prayer position or wherever you'd like them. And then from here, you're just going to start to tilt forward and raise that left leg out behind you until your body and your leg become a T shape. So your right leg is the bottom of the T. So again, find that steady gaze ahead of you. Engage your core. Look out in front of you. You can look down at the ground. Again, find that steady gaze. Breathing here. Don't forget to breathe. Hold it. Breathe. If you fall out, just come right back into it. Stay for 2 more breaths. And exhale, release that back down. It is a lot harder to do that while you're talking. So I'll try not to talk so much at this next one. But again, you want to find that focus on the ground. Keep your steady gaze. Continue to breathe through the pose. And if you fall, you fall. There's going to be micro adjustments all along the way. That's all part of balancing. So we're now going to balance on that left leg. Slight micro bend in the knee. Bring that right leg out behind you. Arms out, whatever position is best for you. I'll do the prayer position this time. Inhale. Remember to engage your core. And exhale. Start to tilt forward as you lift that back leg up off the ground. So your back right leg is behind you. Your left leg is the bottom of the T. Breathing here. Two more breaths. Hold it if you can. And release that back down. Great job. Good work, everybody. And from here, we're going to take just a moment in mountain pose just to kind of recenter ourselves. So just let your feet ground into the mat. If you can, close your eyes. See if you can stay steady in this pose. Take another inhale. And exhale your Ujjayi breath. From here, if you had your eyes closed, open your eyes. And now we're just going to come down into, go ahead and bring the heels of your feet together. You're going to come down onto your toes. So you're going to lift your heels up off the ground. Your feet will be going out to the side. And if this doesn't work for you, then you can always skip this pose. But from here, you're just going to bring your knees down to the ground. We're going to stretch out the back of the toes for a little bit. So I'll show this to you from the side. But sit back on your heels and breathe here deeply. I'll do it from the side. So my heels are together. My toes are pointed out about 45 degrees. And bring the knees down to the ground and sit back on those heels. Just for a moment, breathe here. Ujjayi breath. This is intense on my toes, so I'm going to go ahead and come out of this pose. And we'll sit back down on our mat. So if you'd like to have a blanket to raise your seat, go ahead and grab that to put underneath of your seat. From here, go ahead and stretch that left leg out long on your mat. And then bring your left leg in, bent into right about your crotch area, or, onto it could even be over here to your right upper thigh. So whatever works best for you. You can move the flesh out from underneath of your seat. Sit up nice and tall. And in this one, instead of turning and going over the leg, we're going to instead go to the side. So you may find a block is handy here if you have a harder time getting your elbow down. You can have it on the inside or outside, whatever's best for you. And you're going to take your right arm and bring it out along the right leg. So your chest is open to the side. This again is where a block might come in handy. You could do it up higher, wherever you need it to be. You can grab the leg if you'd like. If not, don't worry about that.
And from here, you can either just stay here with this left arm dangling in space, or you can bring the left arm up overhead, keeping the chest rolling up instead of rolling down toward the mat. And if you have the mobility, the flexibility, then you're welcome to bring that left arm up overhead and reach for those toes, trying to keep that chest spinning open as much as possible, not spinning down. So breathe here, ujjayi breath. Wherever your arm is fine. It doesn't have to touch the foot. Get a nice side body stretch here. Really open up the side body, the side lungs, the rib cage, all of that to help you breathe deeper and more efficiently, I should say. And inhale, come all the way back up. Slowly. Really feel that opening there. And now we'll switch sides. So stretch that left foot out long on your mat. And bring your right foot in close to your groin area. Again, you can use a block here if you find that is helpful. And whatever height might work. You can also just put your arm on your leg. So whatever's best for you. Move the flesh out from underneath of your seat. Inhale, get tall. And exhale and bring that right hand out to your left hand, left hand out to your left foot. And you can rest it on your leg if you like. Right arm is going to either stay out to the side or you can bring it up overhead. Reaching, and if you're able to grab the foot, then great. And if not, no worries. Inhale here again, trying to keep the chest more open instead of down. So we're trying to open up and really get this whole side body lengthening, opening. It's also a great hamstring stretch too. So breathe here. And inhale, come all the way back up. From here, go ahead and grab one of your blocks. And we're going to come back onto our backs. So just block handy and nearby. So go ahead and lay back on your back. Soles of the feet on the ground, knees bent. We're going to set up as if we were doing a supported bridge. So you may have to play around with this, figure out the height that you want. I would suggest either the lowest level or the medium level. I would not go with the high level because of what we're going to do. So pick one of those, whatever is best for you. You want to have a nice stable base, so go ahead and put that underneath of your sacrum. That's right there at the base of your spine. So set that up in the appropriate place. Make sure you feel nice and steady here with this block. So play around with it till you get it just where you want it. And from here, we're doing inversion of legs up the wall without the wall. So you're going to bend one leg in and the other leg in. And from there, stretch both of your legs up to the sky, up to your ceiling. And breathe here. We're going to let gravity do some work for us for our immune system. So we're going to drain the legs a bit. You can breathe here with your mouth open if you like to have open mouth size, whatever you'd like to do. This is your practice. Do what feels good for you. We're going to stay here for another minute or so. And you may find this works better on your back and for your balance and everything to have it on a lower level. So play with that block. See what's best for you. Close your eyes. And just take this moment in for a little bit. Thank yourself for allowing yourself this time to have some self-care and take care of your body. Oftentimes we're so busy in our lives that we don't stop to take care of ourselves. And then when we get sick, we're unable to keep going like we were. So we really have to learn to take care of ourselves, even if it means saying no to something that we really wanted to do or need to do. Gotta fill your cup back up before you can help others and do other things in your life. One more inhale and exhale. Bend your knees in towards your chest and bring both of your soles of your feet back down to the ground. Go ahead and remove that block and go ahead and stretch out for a nice Shavasana. So go ahead and stretch your legs out, your arms out. Go ahead and I like to pick up my head and really make sure my neck is nice and long and flat out on the mat. Set your head back down and just let everything go into the mat so you're able to absorb the effects, the energy of your practice. Again, if you're finding the Ujjayi breath is working for you, then go ahead and try to do that right now in your Shavasana. Letting everything go into the mat. Just breathing. Taking some nice deep inhales and exhales, cleansing breaths. It's all about cleaning all of that out. It's a spring cleaning for the body, and it's one of the simplest things you can do is breath work. And it's very, very effective and very powerful for the system. So go ahead and breathe there. I'm going to give you some quiet time here for a moment or two, and I'll let you know when the time is up. So just let everything go into the mat. Don't worry about your to-do list. Don't worry about other things that you have been thinking about. Don't think about what you were doing before this or what you had to do afterwards. Just be here for this brief amount of time. There'll be plenty of time for your to-do list. From here, stretch your legs and your arms out long on the mat. Really give a nice long stretch, like you could grow an inch or two. Slowly bring one knee and then the other knee into your chest and give yourself a nice big hug and stay here for a moment. Really hug your knees in. Give yourself a nice hug. From there, go ahead and roll over to your right side and make a pillow with your arm. Stay there for a moment. Your eyes closed. Just keeping this moment. From there, use your hands and bring yourself back up to a seated position. So for the last couple minutes of class, I want to talk about starting a meditation practice. So in the last couple of classes, we've introduced the concept of meditation. We've introduced the idea of having a really comfortable seat, whether that's in a chair or on a pillow or a blanket, making sure you're very comfortable. And that's a really big key. You've got to make sure you're comfortable. And we've already talked about what meditation is. It's observing your thoughts, noticing them. When thoughts come in, you release them and let them go, and go back to your breath or whatever your focus would be. So when you're starting a practice, I think one of the really important things to do is find the best time for you in your day. For me, it's in the early morning. Some people love to do it. I used to do it after my yoga practice. That was the best time for me. I found, my cat's walking through here, so sorry if he's messing up the camera there.
I found that after my yoga practice, I was more open. So some people like to do it after a yoga class because you're more open. That's actually the point of the postures that we do, the physical postures, is to help set you up for meditation. So that's really important. Find the best time of day for you. And you may have to experiment with this. It might be at the end of your day. It might be at the beginning of your day. It could be in the middle of the day. Find a good time that you can commit 5 minutes or less to start with. A couple of minutes a day even is going to be beneficial. Hopefully my cat is not in the frame. My kitty cat is getting restless wanting to go out. So he knows I'm at the end of my recording here. So again, to start a practice, you really want to make sure you find a comfortable seat. That's the most important. Find a good time of day that you can commit a few minutes a day. And today we're just going to start with, we're going to do about maybe a minute or so, maybe 2 minutes of a short meditation, okay? So go ahead and find your seat, get comfortable, sit up on a block, blankets, in a chair, whatever feels good. Lying down is also acceptable for meditation if you find that's better for you. Sit up tall, get a nice, tall, straight spine. Rest your hands in your lap. Excuse me. And now let your eyes fall closed if you feel comfortable doing that. And for here, I just want you for just the next minute or so to just breathe. Notice your breath. Notice your inhale come in through your nose. Exhale, let that go and watch it go back out. So today we're just going to focus on the breath. There's a lot of focus you can use, but today we'll just do the breath. It's one of the simplest ways to start meditation. So for the next minute, I want you just to notice your inhales and notice your exhales. Stay with your breath. If a thought comes in, notice it, release it, let it go. Gently let it go and come back to your breath. You may find every few seconds or so that there is another thought comes in. That's okay. That's part of it. It's perfectly natural and normal. Notice that thought and just release it. Gently release that thought and come back to your breath. Returning back to your breath each and every time. So I'm going to give you some quiet here. Just go through that. Breathing, letting go of thoughts, coming back to your breath. One more inhale. Exhale, release that. Open your eyes. You meditated. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. I hope this was helpful. Namaste.